Okay, so tell us a little bit about what's going on here. And
This is just a massive amount of fly cultures at various stages in development. Um, I've learned a lot about culture and flies over the years. Number one, not all media is created equal. You want to use a media that produces well and works for you.
mhm.
This media is a Tincman smoothie media. It produces very heavily. There's a plus and minus to that. The plus is obviously you can make less cultures and have a lot of flies available to you. The minus side is it produces so well that the larvae will pound through that media very quickly. And that's actually not even a new culture. I bet you this is from like, 3 weeks ago, a couple weeks ago. Um, so basically, this media is really good because it has the vitamins and carotenoids that makes the flies healthier for the frogs. And you really want to have a media that makes your animals healthier.
So, how often do you make fly coaches, and how many fly coaches do you probably make when you start
Well,
making coaches?
I used to make about maybe 40 a week or 45 a week. And then I discovered a few years back when I would have these droughts that a lot of hobbyists go through that's very frustrating when you have no
Yeah,
flies. I would have this drought and then I'd be in a panic. And because I refused to go a couple of days without feeding my animals, I would be buying like $200 worth of cultures from whomever could ship them. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. What I discovered is if you make every third or fourth day, you can actually get away with making less and having a greater sense of reliability from your production. Because now you have two sets of cultures that are always in heavy production, as opposed to having that. Like, let's say you had one set die out prematurely due to dryness or whatever the
yeah,
case may be, and you were making 40 a week. Now you have to wait the next week for that other set to come into production, and you're pretty much left without a week of food for your animals. If you make every third or fourth day, if one set for some reason didn't produce properly, the other set is right behind. It's far superior. You'll save money on You'll save money on supplies. You'll use probably 25% less supplies by making every third or fourth. It is a little bit more laborious
yeah.
because you're doing it more often, but you're actually using less supplies. And if it's more reliable for your animals, you always have to do what's best for your animals when you have a large collection, especially.
Okay, so tell us what this cocaine cake mix powder stuff is going on here.
Basically, keep the cultures on a bed of diatomaceous earth. It's food grade. The consistency of the product actually makes it hard for mites to colonize and go culture to culture. If the mites try to crawl across it, it rips them apart because of their skeleton. So basically, there's so many jagged edges. If you look at this stuff under the microscope, it
Okay.
kills bugs just by its texture.
All right.
And really, if you're allergic to mites, you'll know you have them if you itch. And, you can see little dots sort of. This is the only thing over the years that works. I would say it's like 99% effective. Once you get mites out of your system, this will pretty much keep them out.
Yeah,
Um,
mites definitely can be annoying for any beginners, and they definitely do make you itch. I haven't really had a mite problem, but yeah, I definitely understand that. And one other question I have for you. So usually, like in July, all of the flies they kind of die from, like, I don't know, the shifting heat. Maybe at least I know I experienced it. Do you ever experience it?
I have seen it happen where if you're keeping your flies in a room that will fluctuate and get warm and stay warm, production will pretty much go down. If they get too warm, they'll actually revert back to being flyers. They can mutate if
Yeah.
you get too hot. I keep the flies in the room with the frogs. I have a thermostat that keeps this room literally at wherever I want. So if it's 75 in here, my flies are 75, and production really doesn't change much for me. I even keep humidifiers in the room to sort of combat the winter dryness because you can spritz your cultures a little bit on the second week in the winter just to make sure that they don't dry out prematurely. I prefer to just humidify the room. When you get to the point where you have so much stuff going on, it's better to just treat the room and let the room treat the animals.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's the best way to do it is pretty much just keep the cultures in a temp controlled environment. However you can achieve that. Maybe you have a room that's more stable. Like if you have a basement and it's a little cooler in the
Yeah.
summer, keep them down. Whatever you could come up with. I mean, everybody has a different setup, an easier way to accomplish the goal.
And what type of flies do you use?
I prefer gliders. They're a little annoying because they can do a little hop, fly, glide thing,
Okay.
but they produce heavier. Around the 10th day, you might even get production if the temperatures are warm enough. Uh, they just will produce like crazy in a shorter amount of time. And that little jump tease fly thing that they do, it gets the frogs going crazy, chasing them around. Also, I feel that the fact that the flies have wings, it's more surface area to hold supplements. Yeah, that's not. You should always think about what's the best way to get the supplement into the frog. And since you can't just pour supplements in the frog's mouth, you have to try to get more supplement on the flies. So the flies have a greater surface area with the wings. You can still get winged fruit flies, just that they don't have the muscle to flap the wings. But the gliders all have the wings. And if they're holding more supplement on their bodies for a longer period of time, then you're getting more supplement into your airments. So those are the two reasons why I use gliders. That's pretty much it. I try to make cultures every 3 or 4 days, and I really don't have any problems.
What do we have going on here? This is a very, very extensive interview.
Well, these are actually springtail cultures.
Nice.
You can see that there's some springtails in there. They're more at the bottom if you flooded it, but admittedly I haven't fed them in a while. But
they're still doing pretty well too.
Yeah, if you flood them, there's usually a ton of springtails at the bottom. And these are really, really important for baby Ufagas. Small Ranitomeya that morph maybe where it's difficult for them to take down a fly at the very, very first week or two of life. Mm-hmm. It's very crucial to get nutrients into a young animal like that. If they don't eat the first, I would say, week to 10 days, they lose weight very fast, and that can be the time when you lose a frog or create a health issue where it's really, really stunted. So you really want to get springtails in all of your baby grow-out tanks, probably before they would even morph from being tadpoles is the best time to do it. You want to have your baby tank or grow-out seeded with springtails well before the froglets even emerge from water. So this is Tincman Herb Smoothie Media. We think this is the best media out there, not just because it produces flies very heavily, but because it contains beets, carrots, actual blueberries. It actually has coconut, and it's made with an organic base and has about 5% actual carotenoids. So it'll actually help your frogs gain in color, and it will actually increase breeding outcomes in Ufaga, which has been proven in a scientific study. So this is just a very good media, and we think you should use it if you're serious about your frogs. This is a 50 serving amount. It sells for $42 on our website. The more you buy, the more you save. There's a bulk amount now. I think you can get about 250 serving amount shipped at about $210 or so. And that amount is equivalent to about as much that'll fit in a 5-gallon bucket, at least. So definitely check it out and give our media a try.
Okay, so now we're here with the famous Tincman Herbs LEDs. Just tell us a bit about them.
Okay, so if you have a small tank, say like a 10-gallon vertical or a 12 by 18 Exoterra or Zubed, something with a smaller footprint. It can be a pretty tall tank. It just can't be super wide if you want to use this. But we sell this mixed spectrum 7-watt LED. Swivel, screw into any standard hood. We sell this light for $27, 3 for $24 each. It's bright enough to do, I would say, even a 20-gallon tank in a vertical orientation. Anything that's sort of, like maybe a double shoebox size tank, a little taller. And then from that, we have a 16-inch LED that we're probably one of the first people to sell. It's a 20-watt LED. It also screws into a standard socket. It is best used probably for an 18-inch square tank or an 18 by 24-inch tank. Anything 18 inches wide and up to 36 inches tall, it can actually handle. It's a very powerful light. We offer it with an all-white LED 6500 Kelvin diode, or we offer it with the mixed spectrum with red and blue.
Explain a little bit about the mixed spectrum diodes, because everybody might not know about them.
Okay, so for example, the mixed spectrum on the 22-inch, essentially instead of it being 6500 Kelvin, all the white diodes, the mixed spectrum would have red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, red, blue to give it sort of a warmer appearance on your tank. It kind of will glow and look a little bit more realistic than if you just had all white diodes that might be a little more washed out and yellow looking. I've even had some customers tell me that the yellow can kind of appear like a pale blue and not really look really realistic. So the red and blue, when it fuses together on your tank with the white, it produces more natural and you know, looks more like actual sunlight. That's what we feel, and most of our customers feel. So this one's the 22 inches. You can use this on a 24-inch wide tank. Some people like them even on 36-inch wide tanks. If you don't want it to be super bright on a wider tank, you can go a little smaller with your lighting and create like a naturally shaded area in the tanks. And this one's 25 watts, also screws into a standard socket. We sell these for $60. The 16-inch we sell at $47. And actually we have this new light, which is 34 inches.
Yeah.
And this bad boy is really bright. One of these is actually brighter than two of our 16 inches side by side. And unlike the socket lights, you actually can screw in. This comes with its own power cord that screws in. And yeah, you just pretty much just peel off the label, pop in the cord that it comes with, put it on your tank, and you're ready to rock and roll.
See this?
Yeah, uses 36 watts.
Nice build quality. Oh, what's the lumen count on this?
I think it's about 3,700 lumens. It's a very bright light. You put this on a 36-inch Exoterra, you will not be disappointed. It will be extremely bright. And we give a 1-year warranty on all of our LED products as long as they're not customer damaged. So if any light fails to turn on, flickers, or you know anything, as long as it wasn't broken by a customer, it's covered for a year.
I never even seen like an LED this big before.
It's no joke. You can actually get away with putting that on a 48-inch wide tank if you didn't want it to be, you know, side-to-side coverage, because you'll get a little more coverage on each side. Like you'll get the 6 inches on the right and left. It's very bright. It's also mixed spectrum. Right here we have some custom Exoterra lids made by Chris Sherman of Sherman Tanks. This is our 12-inch squared lid. It'll fit any Exoterra with a 12-inch footprint. So if you guys have those squared tanks that are 12 by 12, it'll fit. And if you have those 12 by 12 that are 18 inches tall, this will just pretty much sit right on the top of those black, like when you remove the screen that comes with the Exoterra, this fits right into that frame.
Nice. Can you show me a little bit closer? Like just...
Sure.
Oh man, that is built pretty well.
Yeah, this is solid. Solid 1/4-inch glass, polished edges. You're not going to cut yourself on this. And this is stainless steel. So this is never going to rust, much like the cheap stuff that comes with the Exoterras. This is really an upgrade and well worth the price if you want to keep humidity in for your animals.
Nice.
We even have an 18-inch version. I'll show you guys that. I should have put that the wrong way. Gotta go sideways. So the 18-inch version will fit pretty much any of the 18-inch footprint Exoterras. So you can have an 18-inch squared Exoterra, or you can have an 18 by 18 that's 24 inches tall, which is probably a very popular tank for obligates. And you can even see here, it comes pre-drilled with a Mist King nozzle.
Nice.
All you gotta do is pop this little black thing out, boop, and now you can just screw in your Mist King right in the front and have it pretty much spray the tank. Nice double nozzle will probably work great for 18 by 24. So basically any 18-inch footprint Exoterra, whether it's 24 inches high or just an 18-inch square cube, this would be ideal. Same thing, 1/4-inch glass, very well made. This thing probably weighs close to 6-7 pounds. This is stainless steel. This will not rust, and we guarantee them to arrive not shattered.
And no frogs. I mean, no flies look like they're gonna get through that screen at all.
Oh no, this is ultra fine. Flies aren't going to escape through the top of your tank. It's a really big upgrade because you can even use a piece of acrylic if you wanted to create, say, a breeding season with 100% humidity, and then you can just remove the plastic and get some ventilation back. So it's a superior.
So let's say for instance, like an 18-inch cube, what percentage of humidity would that glass lid provide?
Well, I always say to customers and hobbyists that use hygrometers and try to test humidity and get a percentage, that they're wasting their time because most of those products don't even accurately depict the humidity. What you really want to see is that the soil is kept moist and that you actually have an environment that is suitable for frogs. Meaning to say it's not dry to the touch, the soil. There's moisture down there, but you don't want the frogs sitting in puddles.
Yeah.
And you can easily achieve that with this lid. Sometimes I'll add just a couple of small pieces of clear plastic over the screen in the spring and summer to sort of really create. I mean, if you cover 90% of that, you're gonna have a really wet environment. Very, very wet.
Maybe close to 100.
I would say over 90%. If you cover 90% of that lid, because the Exo has like that very thin ventilation in the front bottom, and that's not much. So if it's not too dry in your room and your soil is really saturated with moisture, you're going to get a really, really humid tank with this. It's thicker than the screen, doesn't allow heat to escape much. So what happens is, I don't know if you guys have ever seen where the tank will be warmer than the room when you have an air conditioning system. Yeah. And sometimes you'll see your tank will get a little steamy because that's the differences in pressure. Like it's very warm in the tank and very cold in the room. So the water is like forced to evaporate. So the rate of evaporation goes up in the tank and you're creating a pressure system for the frogs. It's actually a good way to induce breeding. If you let it warm up in the frog room to a safe degree and then pump your AC a little bit, you'll see the tanks will just literally just fog up. It's amazing. It's like a natural pressure system that you can create by doing so. But it's just an upgrade over the screen, basically. Yeah, it's a high upgrade. It's it's more aesthetically pleasing. I think they're nicer to look at than that black screen with that cheap stuff that the Exoterras come with. Yep. So it's just a superior product and a better way to enclose the top for the Exos. You can actually use them on zoom heads, but it requires a small modification to the lid. Like there's like these little clip areas on top of the zoom head frame that impede the glass from laying flush. So you need like some long nose pliers, or you need to be good with a straight razor. You need to just cut off those little pieces, and then this will rest flush on a zoom head. So technically, you can use this on a zoom head or an Exo. It's just made to work out of the box on an Exo. The zoom heads require a slight modification.
I didn't know that because I definitely do want some zoom heads tinks.
Yeah, zoom heads are cool because they have the one door, and it's like a little more. I think it's a little more pleasing to the eye with just one door. Yeah. All right, this is Idris with Tincman Herbs. This is our tadpole rack. As you can see, it's our dry season. There's not many of them here. I'll just give you guys a brief little tutorial on getting your tadpoles and froglets to be healthier when they morph. Essentially, when they first morph, you want to have them in a little bit of water to encourage them to surface for air. The first week or so, when the head is really small on your tadpole, you want to just have a little bit of water. When you see him starting to grow and eat, and he's grown, his head is probably doubled in size, I recommend really raising the water, like at least halfway as a minimum. And towards the end of the frog, when it's starting to pop legs, bring it up even 2/3 of the way up on a 32-ounce fly cup. They're really powerful. The more water you have, the less nitrate and ammonia buildup you'll have, and the healthier your morph will be. We've done experiments where frogs raised in less water, frogs raised from tadpoles in less water versus frogs raised in tadpoles that had a higher water volume. The frogs that morphed from the higher water volume were literally about 30% larger and looked like they were a month out of water at day one. So nice. It makes a huge difference, the volume of water you keep. Don't overfeed. If you're feeding too much, you'll see food. When you go to feed again, you'll see uneaten food. All that's doing is developing ammonia and ruining the water quality. So you want to feed enough. And think about the animal. The head is the size of half of a pin. So how could its stomach be needing 3 pellets? Just feed the minimum amount possible to each tadpole. Change the water. If you change the water more often, you will notice that your frogs will be healthier at morph size and they won't look as weak or as small. It's very crucial to do that. And feed a quality food with a lot of protein, like our Tad Tots, which we make with organic spirulina. We use vitamin A enhanced food with we have calcium and D3, which we think is very important because to prevent calcium deficiency, it's important to make sure the tadpoles get the calcium before they even morph. And the vitamin A, it's a good time to treat any vitamin A issue that could potentially come along for a tadpole as well. So we also have natural rose in the pellets as a color enhancer, and we pick some crucial vitamins to engineer the food with. But again, with this food, use the least amount to get the job done. Don't overfeed your animals and change the water. That's pretty much it. And you want to keep them warm also. If you let the tadpole water get below 70 as an average, 69, 70, it can take longer for them to morph and they can morph smaller. Their metabolisms will go down with the cooler temperatures. So if you want your animals to morph healthier, faster, keep them in a warmer environment. Keep them next to your frogs. If your frog room is 75 degrees, try to keep them next to your frogs.